Last time on Low Budget Binge.
Do you need a movie that doesn't require all of that thinking and moral discussion? Plastic surgery, nightmare, zombies. The house is run by a strict disciplinarian who used to be a professional wrestler until he accidentally killed someone in the ring. Given my pale complexion, all forms of water fun scared me as a kid. Big boobs.
And now, the next death-defying chapter of Low Budget Binge.
Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. I have another murder of indie horror films to check out in this week's Low Budget Binge. This is where we look at films off the beaten path and sometimes made with whatever the filmmakers have in their pockets. But sometimes they're pretty darn good. That logo has gone through another metamorphosis up there. Sharp stuff going on. Before we dive in, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. In these early days, it's crucial to get the word out about this channel to new folks across the internet and tame the algorithm beast that is YouTube. I'll indicate in the review and down below where you can find these films along with their trailers. Here we go. Metamorphosis is new on Shudder, and another horror offering from South Korea, which seems to be a hotbed for good horror these days. While I didn't find this one to be one of the best, it still is a quality horror offering. This time, the subject is exorcism and possession, as the film opens with a priest exorcising a demon in the usual fashion. When this exorcism goes south, the priest is shamed and the demon hops to the priest's relatives, a family that has moved into a new home. There they run afoul of their creepy neighbor and open themselves up to possession, and the demon proceeds to possess one family member after the next, unfurling the fabric of the family and causing mistrust among them. Once they realize what's going on, they call upon their uncle, the priest, to do his thing, but the priest has lost his mojo and fears he just doesn't have what it takes to take on the demon anymore. The biggest problem with Metamorphosis is that there's a lot that is all too familiar with the film. The disheartened priest, the lady strapped to the bed, the rites being screamed, it's all right from The Exorcist and its myriad of copies. There is a kind of cool twist towards the end that I think was ruined a little with the editing, but I really did like the production design of The Neighbor's House of Horrors. This isn't particularly bad, and the performances are well done. It's just stuff we've all seen before. Another one from Shudder, and recently released on Blu-ray from the Shout Factory, is Belzebuth, an epic tale of good versus evil, full of unpredictable twists and turns, and ends up being reminiscent of Terminator 2 of all films. What made this Mexican film great for me was the fantastic performance by Joaquin Cosio as Ritter, a beleaguered police detective who is assigned to investigate a series of unusual mass child killings, too soon after losing his own child when a woman goes nuts in the baby room in a hospital. This one has some gruesome scenes of mass murder, beginning with the massacre in the hospital's baby viewing room. Many of them have a hint of Final Destination to them, as there seems to be an unseen hand guiding these extremely elaborate and intricate events as they unfold. Turns out there are some very high stakes involved, as an American paranormal investigative team is partnered with Ritter to find out what's going on. Saw's Tobin Bell has the answers, and I don't know if it was his presence that reminded me of the Saw series, or if it was the brutality and sadistic feel to the kills. While Bell is fun here as an occult expert covered in satanic tattoos, Cosio as Ritter is the star. He's not your typical leading man, with a receding hairline, a large beer belly, and he's not the most good-looking pup in the window. But man, this guy can act. He has a sort of canon William Conrad look going on, as he still has the confidence of those 70s detectives, but looks like his looks peaked in the 50s. Still, if the filmmakers and Casio decide to make another film with the Ritter character, with him fighting demons and angels, I'd be the first to tune in. There are a lot of great death sequences, some fantastic imagery, and a plot that seems to pick and choose elements from Terminator 2, Final Destination, The Omen, and Saw to be found in Belzebuth. It's a bit long in the tooth in terms of runtime, but I had a lot of fun with this Mexican religious horror story. Darkness Waits is a no-budgeter sequel to a film called Dead Woman's Hollow, which was released a few years ago. Here's the bad news. The film was made with a cast of non-actors, its plot meanders all over the place, and the pace of the film is very, very slow. That's the bad. Still, I was downright charmed by the love of horror I noticed in every frame of this film. Sure, most of the film's cast probably were paid in pizza and beer, but I admired the ambitious script that involves all sorts of twists, turns, flashbacks, political drama, and even comedic moments, along with the typical slasher in the woods tropes. There's a very well done intro filmed in a handheld shaky cam style, and I kind of wish the whole movie was made this way. But I give this film credit for its big beating heart full of love for the horror genre. If you like no-budget horror and everything that comes with it, I think you'll find something to admire in Darkness Waits. It's streaming now on Amazon Prime. Echoes of Fear is out on demand and digital download now and stars one of my favorite new faces in the horror genre, Trista Robinson. Robinson looks like Sarah Silverman and sounds like Jennifer Tilly, but on top of all of that, she seems to be keen on the horror genre and one hell of an actress. She played the serial killer in Purgatory Road last year, and this time around, in Echoes of Fear, she plays the inheritor of her grandfather's creepy house. As she gets the house ready to sell, Robinson uncovers some twisted secrets and possibly some unsettled spirits. Echoes of Fear has some fantastically timed and choreographed jump scares that had me rattled and scared of what was coming next. The jump scare might be a cheap way to spook the viewer, but this film knows how to do it right. On top of that, there's a particularly evil vibe to this film that starts out as a typical haunted house sort of movie and ends up being something much more sadistic and downright ballsy and intense by the end. This is a highly effective horror film that utilizes everything, including the kitchen sink, to scare you. Last but not least is Browse, a film I would have thought was made in the late 80s or early 90s. It's even got that sultry saxophone-heavy score. It's a neo-noirish LA thriller about a middle-aged man that probably would have been played by Billy Zane back in the day, but today it's played by Lucas Haas, who is going through quite a midlife crisis. His job is in danger. He's just lost his wife. He's even about to lose the furniture in his apartment. Things start turning around, though, when he meets a gorgeous musician online who just happens to live in the building right next to him. He can even see into her apartment from his apartment. A little creepy, yes, and that comes into play later. But if life was in a spiral before for Haas, all of a sudden everything starts swirling as he loses pretty much everything he has left. The film leaves you wondering if Haas is succumbing to his depression and being paranoid that everyone is out to get him, or maybe someone really is intent on destroying his life. Haas offers up a fantastic performance, even though he looks a little bit like the love child birthed from the unholy union of Mark Ruffalo and Vincent D'Onofrio. He's likable, even when he's being pretty pathetic. There's also an appearance by one of my favorite genre actresses, Jocelyn Donahue, as his ex-wife. This is a cleverly orchestrated descent into madness story, full of shocking turns. It's not the feel-good indie of the year, but it will make you think twice about how much you put online about yourself. Browse is out on demand and digital download now. Well, that's it for this week's Low Budget Binge. If you like this video, please pound the thumbs up button. Share the video with your pals across social media. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for alerts for future videos. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're